Hi, so today for this presentation, I want to talk about the accidental drug deaths that happens in Connecticut throughout 2012 to 2018. One of the reasons why is Connecticut is one of the top 10 um, states in the US when it comes to drug abuse. So it's quite relevant. These are my sources from the CDC and the online databases. So the data sets that I've used, this one is very specific. So this records every single accidental deaths that happens on individual case. This one is a little bit more towards demographics, population demographics of Connecticut by county. This one is a little bit more of an overview about the total deaths, the mortality rate, essentially the mortality rate, and also I inserted the opioid prescribed per 100 because I'm interested in seeing how the prescription of opioid affects the number of overdose in Connecticut. So this is faulty. So basically what this is I try to find what are the most popular drugs used by these victims uh, uh, upon their death. Now we see heroin and any opioid, and if this was working, you would see that opioid does not really come alone. It always comes in conjunction with other drugs, in a cocktail of other drugs. So that's quite interesting. So this one shows the gender distribution of the victims. Let me show you. Oh, it's not. So basically the gradient represents the time. So this is 2012, 2013, 14, 15, 16. So generally we see an increase in the for each age range. We see an increase in the number of recorded accidental deaths or overdose deaths, and we see that there's a lot more. The peak age for male is much younger than for females. This one is the racial distribution of the victims. So it's Caucasian, Hispanic, Caucasian, Black, and the others. So this is graph that I plotted for the ratio of death by drugs to total deaths by county. So this essentially what this ratio does is shows us just how significant the impact of drug deaths to the general mortality rate. And as we can see, there's like an upgoing trend over the years. However, if we look at the prescription of opioids, it has since dropped from 2012 to 2018. So this raises a question whether there's a lot of unofficial trades of opioids going on in the on the state. And I reckon further exploration on economic factors such as housing. I've gone into trouble, not like I can't really get the income data for the range that I'm using. So I need to look further into the economic factors, and I was thinking maybe comparing it even to the national level, since Connecticut seems to have a really serious issue with drugs, not just on state by state basis, but it ranks top 10.
All right, that was on the nose. Listen, that's pretty good timing. Okay, great. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought you had some really nice insights into the data. You manipulated the data well. There were some interesting things that kind of came out of this. The decrease in opioid prescription is really interesting to see, especially as it's across all states and it looks across all counties. Even it looks like they're all decreasing at roughly the same rate, which indicates some kind of centralized planning thing. I thought the racial distribution was pretty interesting. One of the things in the UK maybe 15 years ago was this idea that kids in hoodies were a real risk to society, and there's an antisocial behavior order thing that went around. You can get an ASBO, which is an antisocial behavioral order, and everyone's like, well, it's the kids, isn't it? And actually, the majority of antisocial behavioral orders are served against the over 60s. And so it's interesting to see these kinds of things and how they don't necessarily stack up against people's perceptions of things. So if you watch TV series like The Wire or something like that, you would expect that the majority of drug deaths are going to be amongst the black population, but in this case, it's like overwhelmingly white. And I wonder if that is because Connecticut is overwhelmingly white. It would be really interesting to normalize these against percentage populations for the state and see whether what kind of Rawlsian way of thinking about it, like if I'm born white, am I going to die of a drug overdose more than if I'm born Hispanic? That sort of thing is really interesting.
Yeah, I think the challenge is with the racial distribution. I have the population demographics, but the way they classify race is not the same. So they're released by two different agencies. And that's something that I have to kind of probably maybe simplify them into a common category. I can do that. And will you be looking into this again? Because I'm not sure what next week is with the submission.
Oh, the next week's submission is just if you want to change something, like you said, you had a broken bit, and so I can't see the broken bit. And so if you want to fix that before you submit, I will. If you let me know, I'll check the code, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that bit of code is good. Or it's for me to look at people's code if people have got quite hidden code.
Right.
But yeah. And there's also what I'd really like everyone to do is to pull this together into something that we can publish, essentially, just like a blog post or a series of tweets or that kind of thing. So I think something like this as a series of tweets would be fascinating, and it would get a lot of traction.
Right.
So that would be great. But I think this all looks really good.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have a recording of the pandas?
Of the what, sorry?
The one with the map.
Do I have a recording of how to use it? I'm not sure. I'll have a check. I'm not sure. I presume so, but I'll look.